Hello everyone. So I'm going to share a little more here on bot trading or auto trading using the Option Alpha platform. As many of you know, I worked for Option Alpha for a couple of years. I worked with Kirk and the rest of the team in helping to kind of fine tune and bring traders on board to the bot platform. Great platform, great company, love Kirk. Anyhow, I'm using the platform more and more. They've added some really great things to it that I find very valuable in my trading. I'm specifically going to go look at an earnings trade here, but I wanted to show you. So I've got some trades that I've been making here. These are all live trades. These are trades that I'd put on recently, using different ways of finding what I consider to be good risk to reward trades, and then letting the bot manage them. And I'll show you what I mean by that in just a moment. So one of the cool new features that they've added here a few months back is something called Trade Ideas. And this is where I can come in and click Trade Ideas, and I can see all the different trade concepts that are out there. I can narrow it down to specific symbols. I can say only ETFs. Right now, this is showing me all trades. If I want to see just neutral-oriented trades or just bearish trades or just bullish trades. So it gives me all kinds of stats on each of these trades. So it's going out and it's looking at all the different strike combinations in XLY, for example, or Shopify, and it's bringing me back the ones that fit my criteria the best. So let me just show you kind of what it is that I'm going to do here right now. I want to kind of look at an earnings trade. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to say, show me anything that has earnings in the next 5 days. Well, of course, we know that Amazon and Apple, etc., have earnings tonight. Also, SQ, which I think is Sequinome, if I remember right. But some of those symbols aren't traded. The bid-ask spreads can sometimes get a little wide, etc. So I like to stick with things that are bigger names, highly liquid. But one of the things that I like to sort on personally, and I'm still experimenting with a lot of these, so there are a lot of different ways that this can be done. But one of the things that I like is I want the best possible risk-reward ratio or reward-to-risk ratio that I can get in a trade. So I tend to look for something that has 100% or higher. That means that if I put on this trade, you can see my max loss if one of these, in this case it's a condor, goes against me, I'd lose $60. If it goes in my favor, I could make $140 at expiration. Now, I don't tend to carry my trades to expiration, and you'll see that here in a minute as well. But another cool thing here is look at this number right here. This is the number of traders on the Option Alpha platform that actually are taking this exact same trade. And of course, I can sort this by traders and I can see how many. So there are 17 people on the platform that are taking this exact same trade, which actually also looks pretty interesting in Apple. It's got a pretty good reward to risk ratio to it. So that's kind of interesting as well. But let me go back to the trade I was looking at. So let me come back here to my, let's see, we'll sort by, well, I can narrow this just down to, here's all the different Apple trades that somebody might take. Let me narrow it to just Amazon right now. And again, we'll come in and we'll kind of look for one of those Amazon trades. So again, there's quite a few different ones here. I do want to do, this is going to be 1 day to expiration because this thing, earnings are tonight. You're going to have the higher volatility here. We can see that these trades, 87% probability of profit, 91% probability of profit, only a 7 or 8% chance at max loss. That's PML, percent max loss. Alpha is a proprietary number that they've developed to help determine the best trades for traders. So, this one right here is looking pretty darn interesting to me. We're currently trading at 128, so we're closer to the lower end of the spectrum here. In other words, we're getting as much as we're getting here because of this put spread. You can see the call spread is $10 higher. Well, is that where I want to be or not? I don't know. Let's take a look at the chart here. So if we look at Amazon, okay, so Amazon is currently in the lower range. So it's kind of resting a little bit on support. So if there's a move in Amazon, my expectation from a technical analysis standpoint would probably be that it might not break much lower unless there's really bad news. Of course, if there's really bad news, anything can happen. That's why I limit the size of my trade and I limit my risk. But under normal circumstances, I would expect that Amazon's either going to still trade around this 129, maybe pop up into the 132 or 135 range. If we come back and we take a look again at that trade idea, so that'd be great if it popped up into the 135 range. No problem there. I can even experiment with this a little bit. Let's just say that I'm okay coming down to 135. What's that going to do for me? And I'd bring the risk, this down. So I'd bring this whole spread down a little bit. So I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think that actually increased my max profit or my ratio a little bit better, didn't it? Let's see here. We're 149.51. Let me take this back. 149. Yeah, so it's kind of, yeah, it was a little better. So I'm actually going to adjust this, and I'm going to go with this, I think, as my trade. Now we can see this is the bid-ask spread. I'm going to show you something here that's really cool too. And I have to decide how many of these I want to do. Well, I usually go somewhere in the 300 to 500 range. So I'll look at doing 5 contracts of this. We can go out here. This is something called smart pricing. It's proprietary. It's really, really cool. I use it a lot. Well, not a lot. I use it every time. But I can come here, I'm going to set it on patient. So it's going to try to get me into this trade, and it's going to march through a series of prices, and it's going to try to get me the best possible fill that it can. So we can see that the mid here is $1.25. So I'm okay if I go a little below that mid, but I don't want to go all the way down to only taking, $1.17 or something like that for this trade. I'd like to be closer to the mid. I mean, ideally, I'd like to get $1.30 or something like that. So now I have to assign this to a bot, which is kind of the container, if you will, the place that I want to manage it, my trade list. It can go by a lot of different names. And I do these in my earnings trade area, and my earnings trades haven't done great recently. I'll be honest with you on that. You'll see them in a second here. And then exit options. So what I usually do personally with my earnings trades, there's a lot of different things that I can put in here. I can take profit at a certain percent. I can set a trailing stop. I can set a stop loss. I do not use a stop loss in my option spread trades. Because sometimes the wide bid-ask spreads can get you there. So I just make sure I trade in a size that if this trade went fully against me and I lost that full 300 and some odd dollars, yeah, oh well, don't want that to happen, but I trade in a size that I'm comfortable with if that were to happen. So again, a lot of different things that I can set up here, but I've built some presets. So one of my presets here is, this is what I call my earnings trail, and I'm looking for a 35% profit. And once I get to a 35% profit, then I'm going to drop in a 5% trailing stop. So many times how I used to do this is I just trade hit 35%, I take it off. Well, I found out that many times I'm leaving a lot on the table because let's just say this trade is centered, or the price of the underlying is kind of centered in my spread there. And it's going to stay centered in my spread for the next few hours until it expires. That trade could have marched up to 50% profit, 60% profit, 80% profit. So it could have generated a significant amount of additional profit if I just let it. But I've got a lot of trades on, so I don't want to sit there and have to watch this stuff. So once I hit a 35% profit, it's then going to put a 5% trailing stop on it. And if it starts to go against me 5% one way or the other, it will go ahead and close that trade for me. Again, this is all automatic. I don't even have to have my computer on to do this. So now that I've got all this set up the way I want it, let me just see, make sure the mid price and stuff hasn't changed that much. It has, so I actually can go probably a little higher on this. We'll go to 121. Now I'm going to go ahead and place trade. So watch what's going to happen here. So I place trade. It's accessing my trading. I got my fill at 122. So it goes out and it starts to look for the best potential prices for me, tries to get me the best fill it can. So it got me filled at 122, which was a little better than mid. And so anyhow, so that's where we're at on this trade. So I'm now in, this is my P&L diagram. And so now it's a matter of see what happens with this position come tomorrow. So again, the bot will take over management, not take over, the bot is managing this position for me. So let me come to my bots and we will look, I'll show you one that's actually being managed right now. So here are different positions that are open. And let's look at this one right here, AMD. So this one's looking good. It's up $100 or $240 right now. But what's interesting here is you see here it's waiting to activate. Right now, I'm up 25%. So as soon as this hits 35%, then it's going to say that the trailing stop is activated, and then it will tell me where I'm at in that 5% trailing stop, that I'm 0% down on the trail, which would be great. Or I'm 2%, we've dropped back 2%, or we've dropped back 3%. At some point, if it drops back over 5%, and again, we're looking at this every 1 minute, if it drops back over 5%, it will go ahead and close that trade. Let me show you an example of one that closed that way. So this was another trade I had open in AMD, slightly different trade. And if you look at this, you can see it hit a high of 40% about an hour ago. So the target read as hit at that point, and then it was trailing by, well, right now it's trailing by 3.2%, but it closed the trade out. At one point, it dipped below that 5%, so it went ahead and closed that trade out. So I ended up getting a 36% return instead of just the 35. If I just had an order out there to close it at 35, it just would have closed at 35. Now, 36%, okay, so that's only a percent difference. But what if this thing didn't gyrate? What if the price didn't go back and forth more than 5% and it kind of stayed in a zone? And that worked up to 50%, 60%, 70%. And again, there's no emotion on my part here at all. I enter the trade based on the numbers that I think look good, a good reward to risk ratio. The bot does it from there every 1 minute. I don't have to have my computer on. So it's really a cool setup. There's a lot more to it than what I'm showing you here. I'm just showing you one small aspect of it. One other key aspect of this is important to note, is the community. So one of the best things about bots and auto trading is that a lot of people build complete automated trading methods. I'm running some of these myself, where I do not have to be there to enter the trade. I don't have to be there to manage the trade. I don't have to be there to exit the trade. The bot is doing it all. I, of course, am overseeing it. I'm checking in on it, making sure. I've never found it to not do what it's supposed to do. But if I forgot to include maybe one little element of a decision-making process or something like that, I need to watch my bot and see if I missed something. So we recommend never, it's called unattended, but you still need to pay attention to it. But again, I don't have my computer on and I'm not watching it make most of these trades when it's making them, but I'll look in at the end of the day. But the thing I wanted you to look at right here, look right here, top bot templates. So these are a whole bunch of templates that other traders are sharing. This has been shared with over 1,100 traders. Over 1,400 traders have cloned this bot and downloaded it to start trading in their account. Now, you need to understand what these things are doing. This is not a blind, download it and start it up. That's the equivalent of somebody on the internet saying, go buy ABC stock, and you just go and buy ABC stock. That's not what this is about. This is about sharing and understanding what's being shared and how it works. So like this bot, for example, I'll just go to this because it's at the top of the list here. And this person explains all about their bot, exactly what the bot is designed to do. And here are all the decisions that the bots are going through. Now, this is not simple stuff. This is a pretty complex bot. And if I like this bot, and I already have this in my account, but if I like this bot, all I got to do is I hit clone, and it's going to download this bot into my account. I can start running it in paper, always, always, always run in paper, and see how it works for a period of time. See if you like it, make sure you know what it's doing. And then if you do, after a period of time, or maybe you want to make a tweak to it, and then come connect it to one of your live trading accounts. So that's how this whole thing works. So the community is really, really an awesome community. A lot of traders in here. Here's Kirk, the founder of the platform. He's sharing one of his bots. This thing has been cloned by traders 4,000 times. So they've loaded it into their account. Most of them are probably trading in paper, hopefully to test it. Many of them, I'm sure, have gone ahead and maybe rolled that to live trading in their account. So anyhow, this is not bot building. Bot building is a totally different thing where you can take your own concepts and ideas and put them into strategies. But I'm showing you a couple of the easier paths first. At some point, I'll get into maybe building a bot, and I'll share that with everyone as well. But for right now, I just wanted to give people a sense of what's happening out there, what I'm doing with the platform. Again, my earnings trades, like I said, they have not done great recently. But we'll see. We just opened this Amazon one right here. I opened one for Apple as well, which has earnings tonight. PayPal and Shopify had earnings yesterday, and they went totally against me. These did not work, obviously, as earnings trades. So they blew totally out the bottom of the ironcondor. There is no way to adjust these. Not that the platform couldn't adjust them, but there's no time available in this trade when it expires tomorrow to try to make any adjustment. So one of the things about earnings trades specifically, if you're going to do an earnings trade and you're doing it with 3 DTE, 2 DT, 1 DT, 0 DTE, you kind of get what you get. I mean, this was a really good reward to risk profile. I could have ended up with a high of $980 in profit versus a max loss of $420. I decided to roll the dice on that particular trade, and I rolled craps, I guess you might say. So same thing here with Shopify. So anyhow, that's the way it goes sometimes. But I just wanted people to see the process of how you might enter trades with the platform. And then the platform manages the trades. Again, if I come to my hand crank bot, these are the ones that I enter. They're not earnings trades. None of these are earnings trades. These are these are trades that I looked for that had good risk reward ratios, but not around earnings. And overall, we can see that this is performing much, much better. This is the culmination of all the trades that have been done so far. And the other cool thing is I can come down in here. Let me go back to positions. I can come down here, analyze results, and it gives me a really awesome stats that shows that my closed trades, I'm up $2,200. Now this is since I started on June 30th, so about a month. Had a 25% return. I've had 21 positions, 57% win-loss rate. Most of these were iron condors. Netflix was my biggest winner. SPY is my biggest loser. So a lot of great stats here, as well as the stats over here on this side. So again, just wanted to give you a little more of a rundown. If the platform's of interest to you, I've put a link down below that you can use that will give you a 30-day free trial. Because of my time with Option Alpha, etc. I am an affiliate of theirs. I do love their platform. So if you want to check it out, just use that link down below, check it out for 30 days yourself, and see what you think. That's it for now. Take care, everyone.